VTuber Powdur is in a bit of a fiasco after a company attempts to recall her model. We're going to do that today on Legal Mindset. We teach you to be your own judge. I'm Andrew Esquire, American attorney. This is a fast facts video, the quick and dirty version of the latest in legal news. So we have our white-haired elf VTuber on Twitch. Over here, you see her, in one outfit. We got the rice and the bananas. And over here, of course, perhaps a controversial ice version. Now, there's maybe some fan art here, but certainly she's made some statements that are pro-ice, pro-feds, a little Fed posting out there.
The only reason people should be upset with ICE is because they're not doing enough. They need to deport more people. They would have to deport like thousands of people every week in order to make a dent in the issues that we have right now. But that's not going to happen.
And of course, that's something very controversial right now in light of things going on. We just covered the Renee Good shooting. There's a lot of other issues involving ICE in the United States. It's very controversial at this point. And that is indeed the VTuber's right to have opinions on what they want to have or not have. But apparently, according to the plaintiffs in this case, as we're going to call them, which is Kokoda over here on X, Chili's Kokoda, this is a 4-person team that offers customizable models, and they made the model for Powdur. I believe she may be getting a new model that is not made by them, but at this point, I believe she's still using their model at this point. So we have this issue where the Chili's team, which is 4 people, created the model for Powdur. Powdur made statements supporting ICE, and now, after they made those statements, Chili's wants to stop use the model and delete all previous material using it. So saying, hey, every stream that you have, anything that you've done, we need you to delete that. So that's where we're at. That's obviously huge for a VTuber because they're essentially having to go back and delete all of their content, which nobody's going to want to do, period, right? So we're in a position where people are, coming out pro, against, and I'm going to give you the law on this and the way this actually should work out. So first of all, let's start with some statements. I'm going to read from the Chili's team. So at first, they said, we merely provide the model and are not responsible for statements made by any individual users. The Chili's team stands for peace. This statement, which is their original statement, I actually think the law stands behind. That's all you do as an artist. You provide the model and that's it. You're not responsible for anything they would do with that. Now, can I say, would a artist perhaps be in a situation they wouldn't want to sell to somebody because of their political positions? That's fine. But the point at which you do that, the proper point, and the point at which Chili's should have really looked into is before you sell the model. So for example, if you were a Christian artist and you didn't want to sell to a demon VTuber that was a VTubing Moloch or some other Beelzebub, whatever, some other, demon VTuber, and you felt that violated your faith, right? Although I think demon VTubers are cute. So, and I said as a Christian. But that said, let's say you didn't want to do that, right? You don't have to do that. But the point at which you don't sell is before you make the sell, before you make the purchase agreement. Once you've made that agreement, it's kind of done unless you've tried to structure it in some weird other way, which typically is not going to work out for you. And we'll get into why. So they said this original one, and this, once again, we would have no legal problems if they stood by their original statement here. However, they went and made another statement, and I'm going to read this because this is a very interesting one. I know the font is a little small. A message from our Team Chili's to our community. First, for those that may not know us, Team Chili's is a 4-person independent creative team. We are not a company or a corporation. Well, first big problem there, you're not going to probably have the funds to do this. So I'm just calling it out right now. You're not a company or corporation. You probably don't have a lot of money. It's not really going to work out for you. Liz Meta is a passion project we built from the ground up and has now served over 1,400 creators. And we are generally grateful for every one of you. We want to take a moment to address some recent discussions and share where we stand. Our model is not a conventional digital product. It functions as your virtual identity, your face online. When viewers see your avatar, they naturally associate it with the creator behind the technology. This means that the way our model is used in a commercial context directly reflects on our brand and, more importantly, on the entire community of creators who share this ecosystem. Recently, we received feedback from multiple users expressing concern that a certain commercial content created with our model, that's Powdur, was negatively affecting the community's perception and atmosphere. We take this feedback seriously. As the original creators and rights holders, that's That's actually false. So I want to stop right there. They sold it. They no longer have the rights, right? So without any retention of rights, they would not have at all. And generally, that's not going to happen in a product context. So I want to stop that right there and just dispel that incorrect statement. We believe our responsibility goes beyond simply selling a product. Them believing that responsibility, and this is me interjecting once again, them believing something doesn't make it true or legal. It's not true. We have an inherent obligation to protect the creative ecosystem. No, they don't. That all of our users are a part of. This not about adding new rules after the fact, which they did. It is about upholding a principle that exists in any creative licensing relationship. It doesn't. Commercial use of someone's original work should not cause harm to the creator's brand or other fellow authorized users. That's not standard, and that's not something that is typically allows you to recall a product, right? That would be a brand relationship contract, something like with an advertiser. That would be different. They're not an advertiser. They don't have an ongoing relationship. We also want to be transparent. As a small independent team of 4, this is our first time navigating a situation like this. And we acknowledge that our initial communication could have been handled more carefully. We are a small team of 4, not a legal department. Clearly, they don't know the law. We're learning as we go, and we appreciate your patience as we work to get this right. However, the core concern remains valid. Multiple users reached out to us with genuine concerns, and we have a responsibility to address them. No, you don't. And you don't have the right to address them. We also made aware that some of our authorized users have recently been receiving negative comments discouraging others from purchasing or using our model. If I were somebody that saw you were trying to do this, I would not buy from you either. That's very, very common. If I saw them trying to claw back models based on free speech, that would be a problem. We want to clarify, our concern has never been about controlling anyone's personal opinions. As we acknowledged above, our initial communication on this matter was not handled as carefully as it should have been. To be clear about our actual position, what we seek to manage is how original creative work is used in commercial context, not what any one person believes or says through their own channels. Well, that's exactly what they're trying to do. We want to reiterate, this has always been about the use of our model, nothing more. This is our original creative work, not the buyer's original creation. Well, it's a product now. They own it, they have it, they have possession of it. Possession is 9/10 of the law, as they say. So yes, you're free to express any views through your own content, other models, voice, text, or other medium. We fully support freedom of expression. We simply ask you to not use our model to create content that harms our brand or community. Managing about how our work is used is not the same as restricting anyone's freedom of expression. Please do not confuse the two. It actually is, because you're trying to change the law involving products. To our creators, please do not let the comments discourage you. We stand behind every one of our users, and your right to use and enjoy Liz Meta is fully protected. That said, we're updating our terms of service after the fact to make these principles explicitly clear for everyone going forward. The updated terms will apply equally to all users and is standard practice across digital platforms. No, it's not. Continued use of the model will constitute acceptance. That's not acceptance at all. We'll get into that in a second. We have addressed the specific situation privately and will not be discussing individual cases publicly. We remain committed to supporting all creators who use Liz Meta in good faith. Thank you for being part of this community. Your trust means everything to us. If you have any questions or concerns, our DMs are always open. Team Shaliz. So let's talk about this. They frame it as a service. They claim a vague ongoing duty to a community. They change the terms of service after the sale. They attempt to redefine what acceptance means in terms of a contract and delivery of a product. They offer nothing in exchange for the new terms. This is not standard practice. So all of these are legal violations here. So you cannot change terms and offer nothing in exchange. You can't just let their non-acceptance be acceptance. That's not a thing. You also can't claim an ongoing duty to the community. You're not doing anything that benefits the other party in terms of your quote unquote ongoing duty to the community. In order for something to be a service, you need to be providing an ongoing service. You needed to be doing something like continual maintenance, right? Or something else like that. If, for example, models needed maintenance and you were doing maintenance on them or delivering them certain things on a set schedule, you could terminate that set schedule. That's fine. But that's not what you're doing. You've already put this thing out there. It's already done. This is a failed analysis because of those multiple points. This is inherently a product. Upon delivery, the exchange of value is complete, and we're absolutely done here. So the models always should be sold and produced as products. If you are a VTuber and you see anywhere in any sort of terms of service, a company that is attempting to set a limited license or frame models as an ongoing service, you should never buy from that company. You should avoid them like the plague. You should stay away from them because that is not the law. Now, the good news is for most everybody, including people who bought from this, they're never going to be able to enforce it. It's going to be so expensive and practically impossible to claw this back, especially since this appears to be an international thing. This appears to be something that would cross borders. That's not going to work out for them financially, fiscally, practically, it's just not going to work. So they can go eat some crow. Although I do love crows, so let's leave crows out of this. But I want to know what you guys think of in the comments below. What do you think about the situation and how this played out with Powdur? I'll catch you on the next one.